Hi everyone. So, just a few things I want to talk about. Uh, I built my first prototype, holding it that way, of my storage shield, and after a couple of false starts with the EMMC, thinking, "Oh my god, it's not working," it wouldn't recognize the EMC, but the errors I was getting was a weird I/O error. Anyway, it turns out because I was trying to use it on this. So I had a Tiny S3 on this end here, and then I was using Pogos, and clearly too long. Either that or funky Pogos. But I had a bit of a panic attack before I realised that that's what it was. And of course, if I just put them together like this, which is what I did end up doing, I sandwiched them together, and EMMC works great on IDF and Arduino. I posted some images on Twitter, and I don't even know if MicroPython CircuitPython supports the 4-bit EMMC SD mode, but whatever, we'll find out. But these are, I guess, I haven't tested the SD card. I should. It's exactly the same as what I've got on my RTC Logger Shield and my I2S Audio Shield, so like it should be fine. But anyway, I'll double check that beforehand, but I'm going to make production boards of these. I'm probably only going to make like 40 of them because, yeah, the EMMC is not cheap, and I don't want to have to buy too many of them if they're not going to sell. So, whatever. I need to make production boards of those. I still haven't made production boards of my OMG S3. I've been procrastinating on that. I need to get that done. But I've been in RGB Touch. I won't say hell. I'm in the middle of assembling some. These are not the production ones. These are that last batch of ones I handmade. Assembling some at various stages of. Some of them got to be glued. Some of them have to have inserts. Some of them are ready to be put together. And then this is the first one I did of them. So these are all the ones that don't have screws on the top anymore. I've got a weird problem that's happening with it, that I'm now really second guessing this whole thing. So when I'm gluing the top plate in, when I'm gluing the top, this is on for a demo. When I'm gluing the top plate on, I'm putting the glue on the 3D print, which is fine, and I'm putting it together, and then I'm compressing it under some weight, letting it dry for a couple of hours. What's happening is it's just normal CA glue. It's discoloring the 3D print. I'm not sure if I'll be able to show that. Not really. It's making the 3D print go white, and some of it cleans up, but some of it doesn't, and it's not great. I don't understand what it is. It's not glue leaking out. You can't see the glue, but it discolors the 3D print. I'm going to have to either find some different glue, or maybe it's because I'm using PLA, and I probably shouldn't be using. I should be using ASA or something with these, but it's much harder to print with, and it's also much more expensive, and I'm still tweaking the design a bit, like you can see on the side now. Although you can see there's a battery in there, so that's why, oops, a bit whatever. But there's now some holes for the battery, and it's the same on the other side. You might be able to see those slots for where the speaker is, where it used to be just those little, you probably can't see, they're too small, there we go, little dots on the side. They never printed nicely, so I changed them to slots, and then I figured the battery should probably have some air. So anyway, I've been tweaking the design a little bit. Also on this side, the USB side, it used to not go all the way down like that. It actually now, this one doesn't either, but the actual current version, it does go all the way down. You can see, so it's, because what was happening is when people were putting it down on the table or whatever. So I took this to the MicroPython meeting the other night. First time people have had a play with it. I'll talk about that in a moment. When people put it down, what was happening was like it'd be near the edge or something, and this corner would either go off and it would make it unsteady, whatever. So I just I changed the design to make it all the way down on each side. So I'm still tweaking a little bit. It's fine. These are all usable as they are. Yeah, I took it to the MicroPython meeting, and yeah, people loved it. I was doing the whole I don't know what to do with it, and everyone's going just sell them, just make them, sell them, whatever. But so Oliver there, he straight away said, "Hey, do you have two of them? Because if you got two of them with it, let's get MicroPython up and running on it." And I did set up a definition for MicroPython while I was there, so I've actually got a MicroPython version. I haven't done a PR for it, but whatever. But he goes, like, what I want to do, I want to draw on one and have it appear on the other one. And I went, that's a really cool idea. Can use ESP now to do that, to go device to device on a local network, or I guess technically the data could be sent to some type of server and then on. That's a whole different issue to talk about. But I figured the ESP now stuff should be pretty easy to do. So I got home that night and I started playing, and then yesterday I was playing with it. So that was Wednesday night, it's now Friday. And last night I got half of the problem solved, and then went to start work on the other half of the problem. I'll get to what those halves are in a moment. And discovered a bit of a stumbling block. So the first half is capturing something and storing it, have a container for what I've done, and the ability to be able to replay that just on the same device. And the second half is grabbing that data and sending it to another one, right? If I've got the playback working and I've got the capturing working, then technically I can send it anywhere and have it playback. Should have been easy. The problem with the second half is, and I didn't realize this, and there seems to be no way around it, as cool as ESP now is, it's limited to maximum data packets of 255 bytes, or it's actually 250 bytes, which means I can't just send, like, capture a bunch of stuff and send it. I have to chunk it up, which is it's just a much harder system. So I've been playing with, my first thought was, well, what if I compress the data? Originally I was just going to like make a JSON blob and send a JSON blob, which I know is crazy big, but it doesn't matter, like, because if it was a string as a JSON blob, then I also had the option of compressing it. Turns out compressing it's not as easy as I thought on an ESP32 or on any embedded device. There's all these different libraries and stuff, but they're not really suited for just compressing strings. And there is a string compression library that I've been playing with, which actually does work, although it crashes if the string you're trying to compress is too big. Hard crashes. So, and it's a pretty old library. Anyway, that was my first thought, but I can't do that because even a compressed string is too big to send. So I'm gonna have to chunk it up. The way I capture the data, the way I encode it and capture it, and then send it, then I have to rebuild it. I'll have to do the usual stuff. I'm gonna, send some data saying, hey, you're about to receive a whole bunch of data. You're gonna receive this many packets, right? And then start sending the packets, chunks of what the data is, 250 bytes at a time, and then put it back together again on the other side, here, and then play it back, right? Pain in the ass, much harder problem than I thought it was going to be to do, because it kind of changes the way I capture the data, and I need to really simplify the way I'm encoding the data to be able to transport as few chunks as possible. But it's a really cool idea. Be able to, you'd have to the whole pair devices and whatever. And then if it was going to be via the internet, there'd need to be some type of storage, like server, storage, relay system, and a way to connect devices together so you can, target a particular person. So you have, going to have to work out the whole, how do you authenticate a person? How do you I pair my device to you, whoever I'm pointing at right now, whoever's watching, right? If you had one, how would you give me access to your device for me to be able to send you a message? And then, you know, you'd have to be online to receive it. So next time your device goes online and whatever, right? With ESP Now, it's much easier because it can be online all the time, kind of. Anyway, I'm waffling. All to get to the whole, I got the recording and stuff going. So, garage door. So at the moment, if you hit the bottom corner here, it'll put it in record mode. Start. It says start, and then I can just do whatever I want, right? And then after 2 seconds of not touching it, it plays it back. So it captured it all and then played it back once it's finished. So the idea of the 2 seconds, I'll probably change that to 3, but the idea of the 2 or 3 seconds is so I can then do something like start. So I can have gaps in between what I'm doing and then you can play it back. So of course I need to capture the data of where I'm touching. I need to capture the color and also determine if where I'm touching is a new touch or an existing touch where it just changes the color, because I don't want double touches, right? That's for a different day. And then I need to capture the timestamp so it plays back the same speed, right? So if I do it, and I'll do it like a really slow, oops, why isn't it going? Really slow, right? And then a fast, and then a slow. I want it to do that the same way. I want it to play back exactly the same. Start. Oh, I don't know what happened then. So that's slow, and then fast, and then whatever, right? Okay, I want it to play back exactly the same speed. So timestamping everything, again, a challenge. Whatever, but I got it working, and it's pretty cool. Even just doing it for yourself, recording it and playing it, and then, I thought, well, maybe I could, record it and save it, and then, well, how do I show them? Anyway, whatever. The point is, that part of it's kind of cool, but I've got no way of sending it at the moment. Even Bluetooth, I can't send enough data. Limited on packet size. I think Bluetooth, it's 300 bytes. ESP Now is 250 bytes. With Bluetooth, I'd have to just broadcast stacks of packets, right? It's not point to point. Unfortunately, I can't do Bluetooth. I don't believe I can do BLE serial with the S3. I think BLE serial was in 5.1 or 5.2, and the S3 is 5.0, BLE 5.0. So, and of course, there's no classic mode, so I can't do classic Bluetooth serial, which would have been perfect, because then I could have actually done a connection between the two and just streamed data over. Anyway, I've had some ideas of pairing via Bluetooth, so it does kind of a broadcast. I'm here, are there any other devices around that are on, and you can kind of pair that way. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't even know if this is a good idea, and it's chewing a chunk of my time. I think it could be a cool idea, although I don't know how you join them up. I'm not sure if it'd be useful within one household or one environment, because how many people are going to have them, you know what I mean? And then it needs to be connected to not to the internet, but the radio needs to be on, and the ESP Now needs to be alive for it to be able to send. So like if my kids were in their bedrooms sending messages to each other, they'd both have to be, that's fine, that would work with ESP Now. As long as but if they're running off battery, it would chew the battery. Anyway, wow. Yeah. So, I feel like I'm wasting a lot of time on different bits of firmware on this, and with the sole purpose of trying to decide if I'm going to ship it or not. And I know I should just ship it, but even if I decided right now to start production and then just ship it, I've still got all of the other stuff I need to do to get the product ready to sell. and if I sell it and it doesn't have any example projects for it, it's just going to die. So yeah, I don't want to do that. I think that'll be a waste. Okay, that's it. There's no robot on my table. No robot. I cracked the shits with it again. I finished it. Kind of. I even solved how the webcam was going to work on it, and had a mount for a webcam on it. And then after finishing it, one of the steppers won't turn anymore. It's the Z-axis, and I need to pull half the arm apart to get access to the stepper to try to fix it, or to work out what's wrong with it, because I can't see the wires. It was working, and now it's not. And after lots of some heated discussion on the Arctos Discord, I've determined that you can't home the last two axes, the B and the C axes. And so you can't, because you can't home it, the final axis, and that's the one that does the multi-rotation, so it'll go this way or it'll go this way depending on how B and C, if they move together or they're opposite. But they home independently. They don't even know each other exist. And so when you home one, it can crash the other. Or you home the first one, and then depending on where it's left, if you go to home the second one, it could crash the first one, and it did. And I smashed a whole bunch of 3D parts because the torque on them were, it was destroying the. Anyway, and there's no solution for that right now, apparently. So that would mean that even if I put the Logitech camera on there, and even though I've lost the ability to go like this on the Z, no, on the A, it's the A axis, not the Z, the A axis. So I can go like this, and I can go like this, but I can't go like this. And then at the end, I can't do this or this. It makes it pretty useless for a camera. It's basically a 2-axis robot. Or it's a 3-axis robot right now, where none of the axes will allow me to go like this. None of the wrist. There's no wrist on it. Infuriating. So I've just cracked the shits. Took it off. I gotta clean the bench. Took it off. Stuck it on the floor over there. I haven't banned it back to the back room, but there's no solution for the BC homing, and I just can't be fucked trying to fix the A-axis again. Don't know why it's died. I spent a lot of time working on my updated Python code, my send command code, built a whole bunch of built-in commands, made them all English now. You don't have to put all the IDs and codes, and you can just, talk X-axis instead of ID whatever, and you can just say move or set or home, and it's actually really cool. It's even got help. You can type send.py help, and it gives you a whole bunch of stuff, and you can mix multiple commands together, and it was really cool. And then I couldn't use it because my robot's screwed. Very disappointing. Lastly, one thing I want to show before I go is, although I need to tweak it a bit because it doesn't quite fit the PCB at the moment, I redesigned the watch case, not to be a 3D print like this, although I 3D printed it, but this design was designed to be milled on a 3-axis mill. It's fully millable on a 3-axis mill. There's no overhang or inner bits or whatever. Although it requires 6 different operations, so it's not something that I'd want to make more than one of. But I want to make one of these. I want to mill a watch case just to see if I can get it. And it's but yeah, I started setting up some operations for it, some tool paths for it, but I got distracted, and also there's a couple of things I don't quite understand how I'm going to get them to work yet. And to get this fully milled, even on my mill, it's going to require at least one set of soft jaws designed to be able to hold it when it's half milled. So that's a whole different milling process and whatever, and then those jaws are specific to what the design is, and if I need to tweak the design, I have to redo the jaws. Anyway, the point is I have started on a design that could be interesting, or I could just send this to JLC or PCBWay and get them to mill one for me. The screen does go in, but there's a bit of an issue with the PCB on the inside. Anyway, not the PCB, the PCB there on the USB connector, whatever. But I've been playing with that, doing lots of things that are spinning my wheels rather than just getting my hardware ready to manufacture, my new hardware. But I'll get there. Okay, that's it. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for being a supporter. I really appreciate it. I'd like to say I'm not going to continue working on this chunking bit to send it, but I might, because I really want to go like this here and then see it do something there. I really want to see that happen. Even if it's shit code, I really want to see it happen. Anyway, whatever. Bye everyone, take care.